Hi, this is Rob, and I'm the creator of PetMonitor.ai. If you'll give me just a few minutes, I'm going to show you the functions and features of Pet Monitor so that you can decide if using this software is right for you. A little backstory: I have 7 cats, and I love those little guys. But over the past few years, I've been failing them, right? Life has hit. I lost my job for a while. We moved into a new home. Just a lot of things happened in life, as it does. Not to mention the filing cabinets full of papers that I always have spread out everywhere. It's kind of hard to understand what's going on with your pets when you have all the documents everywhere, right? So one day I was feeling down and bad, desperate for some way to help me keep track of my cats. And I went to the closet and I pulled out all their papers because I was trying to figure out who had to go to the vet next, who was seen the last time, what we did. I couldn't figure it out. There's papers everywhere. So I said, and it was like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm like, I wish there was a tool that could do this. So I looked around on the internet and I found a few that maybe work for one pet, but nothing that really works for multi-pet households. And even so, none of them had document upload features. I couldn't keep track of anything anyway. It was another thing to deal with aside from all of the papers. So my background is in marketing and I used to build websites. So I said, you know what? I'm going to see if I can build a tool for myself to use. So that's how this started. And I began to build Pet Monitor. Before it was even Pet Monitor, it was just on a server somewhere in some other name. And once I put it together, I realized, gosh, this is something that other people might need as well. Because I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not the only person with just closets full of paperwork from vet visits that I've never even looked at or haven't got to. And, wouldn't it be nice if I just had all of this information easily so I could point at something and figure out what I needed? So that's what I built, and that's what Pet Monitor is. So we're going to begin to go through the functions and features. First thing I want you to know is if you're looking at this right now from a mobile phone, your screen is going to look different. The app is designed to have a desktop version and a mobile version on purpose. The mobile version has a couple features and functions that the desktop app doesn't, and vice versa. The desktop obviously has a lot of features baked in that you won't see on the mobile screen just because you can't fit that. So the mobile device that you hold in your hand is really used to take the voice notes. And when you press the plus icon on there, you can add a note, okay? You can add a voice note, and you can also take snapshots or photos of those vet documents and get them into the system. That's one way of document retrieval for the system. The other way is to just upload. So if you have a PDF, maybe you want to try a few, I'd recommend contacting your vet for a clinical summary. That is the best recommended option. And what your vet will do is send you a nice, big, fat, chunky PDF with all of your pet's information. And that's exactly what we want because you take that and you go right into the document section and you upload your document. Now, once you upload that vet record, I have a custom built AI that's engineered off of a board certified veterinary doctor with 15 years of experience. It's going to look over all of that information and pull out all of the information and text that it needs to add to the application. That's the first thing that happens. It's taking all of that data out, all the lab values, your pet's weight, the different medications that were administered, the reason for the visit. It all comes into the software. And once it comes into the software, that's when the magic happens. So I'll show you what the magic is. Each pet has their own profile. And as you pull documents into the system, this data will be categorized and attached to your individual animals. So I'm going to give you a demo with Cat, as he is my oldest boy and I have the most amount of information for him in the system. So once you upload all of your data, okay, it will give you an automatic clinical summary. It's summarizing all of the data, everything from his appointments, everything, his current therapies, his lab results. It's all right here in a nice chunky paragraph for you to read and catch up on. It also categorizes medications, supplements, vaccinations, shows you the recent vet visits on the main screen, but also you can drill down into each one specifically, such as medications. This is going to show you all of the active or inactive medications your pet has been on in the past. So as we can see here, Cat's been on a lot of stuff because I have a lot of visits in history. So it's just going through there, talking about everything. So we also have supplements. Now, the only supplement that's missing here, I typically have him on Cosequin for his joints. I haven't added that. I'll have to add that here, but I haven't done that yet. Vaccines, all of his different vaccines, their statuses, when they're due. We can see I have a few that are due. But the funny thing is, like some of these I noticed, he had a 3-year rabies vaccination back to back. Now, had I had good vet records, I would have known that he wasn't due for that rabies vaccination. Well, I did have good records, but no real way to get the data out. So, this can also help you avoid giving your pet double doses of vaccinations or medications they don't need. Visits. Every vet visit is categorized, labeled, and organized. So I can go through here to see any of his vet visits and what it was about, right? I can literally go back to a vet visit from 2024, click this, see exactly what the visit cost, what his weight was, what his diagnosis was, different treatments, what he was given, and the clinical summary for that visit as well. So I don't have to have the vet record anymore. I don't have to have the paper. I have it all stored here with a nice clinical summary where I can go back at any time and review what was going on with my pet's health. Now, here's the section I love the most: trends. As you begin loading your documents into the system, it will start to create trends and show you habits and patterns over time. For example, here we can see that Cat's weight has fluctuated at various times. Now, this is when he started getting stomatitis pretty bad and he wasn't eating as much, so his weight dropped down to about 9.2. I started putting him on prednisolone, and other therapies, and his weight started coming back up again, and it's been pretty stable for the past couple years. He's gained a few pounds since because I had him on another round of steroids, which I've taken him off of recently. But here we can see all of the trends that are attached to things and events that have happened in the pet's life. And the notes section. So when you use the mobile app to record your voice notes, this is where they're going to show up. So it'll put it all in the system and you have everything at your fingertips. The lab results section was also one of my favorites to create because there's one thing I don't like doing, and that's reading over my pet's lab reports. They're just papers and papers and papers of stuff and lab values. And I'm not a doctor or a vet, so I don't understand that. So I built software that does. Click on any value, you can see all of the different labs, their values, the tests, whether they're within normal range or not. And it plots them to a chart here so you can see, okay, it's within range, a little on the high side, definitely within range on the low side, going high over here. And click on explain results. And now I'm going to get a nice clinical explanation of all of these labs within about 10 to 15 seconds. So we'll see that his creatinine levels were within range, but a little elevated. Albumin and globulin, it's within range, but a little bit elevated. And these are things that are pointing to his kidneys. So I've really been watching his kidneys. His labs are okay, but I really have to watch that. So the software is helping me to do that. That's how I'm using it. Another cool section on here is your medications. You can give a nice view of all of your pets, all of the medications they're on, or you can click an individual pet if you want to see what their medicines were in the past or what they've been on or stuff like that. Supplements, same. The reminders section is where you can put reminders on the calendar to get notified of what you need to do. For example, maybe you have to give medicines at a certain time each day. You can add notifications here. And obviously, the obvious function is it's going to send you an email or a push notification. Another section is care costs. Over time, we accrue lots and lots of bills for our animals. Sometimes it's hard to go back and figure out what was spent on what was spent on what animal, who's trending, who's not. But also it helps us to budget how much money we're going to need in the future to take care of our pets. And for pet insurance purposes, this is critical data to be able to know how much you're spending on your pets each year. So as we can see, definitely Cat's taking the lead. He's a senior cat. He's my oldest cat, so obviously he is going to take the lead. And then we see Luna and Toby and Leo and Loki. Well, I guess I need to spend more money on Loki, right? So that's what this does. It breaks it all down by the animal, the average per visit, how many visits, and what the visits were with their costs. It's a very cool tool to just be able to go back and chronologically figure out what you spent on which pet and for what treatment. This is the flagship function. This is the vet prep report. What this does is essentially a report for you to take into your next vet visit. So after you've tracked all of the information in the app and it's surfaced all of the health recommendations, all right, the next thing it can do is print out something for you to take into your next vet visit. Because sometimes when we go to the vet, especially if we have multiple animals, it's hard to tell the vet what we need at that specific time because there might be so many things. We might forget to tell the vet something one visit, and then we have to schedule another visit or another visit. It ends up costing more money than it needs to, if other than if we could just have one really nice, efficient visit. So that's what this helps you to do. As you'll notice here, when you click on it, it gives you a really nicely formatted summary that you can print out and take to your next vet appointment. You can also download the PDF and email it to them as well. And in the future, I'm going to have a feature where you can just simply email this to your vet's office, right? So you can just pop this over to them before the visit or after the visit to talk to them about your animal. As we can see on this executive summary, it's telling me all of the active health concerns, different medications and supplements he's on, his conditions, his current health summary, and then questions to ask the veterinarian, right? How effective are the current treatments for cats' eso- eosinophilic granuloma lesions? Are there any alternative treatments or adjustments needed? What's the plan for updating his rabies vaccination? Because it goes by things here as well, the health flags. So it adds these into the vet report so that next time you go into the vet with your animal, you can get everything taken care of that you need instead of having to go back for rechecks or additional visits and costing more money, right? It helps to make the one visit that you have at the present time the most efficient that it can be. And that is the end of the features and functions for now. You'll notice on the settings page, you can change your household to a rescue or a shelter. Now you can do that here on the even the free account, right? But you'll have limits. So if you want all of the extended limits, say you're a shelter or a breeder and you need to be able to get a hold of your fosters and keep track of all that information, you will need to upgrade to one of those plans. However, that can easily be done with the plan screen. Next is referrals. So I built a system in. So if you have friends you want to share the software with, just go ahead and copy this code, send it to them an email, share it on social media. Every person that signs up, you get credit for. And if they do happen to upgrade their account, you get a $10 credit added to your customer account that you can use for 3 months of service if you like, or hold off and collect the credits because later when I do have a store, where you can buy real things for your pets, like catnip for your cat or little shirts to put on your dog, etc. You'll be able to use all those credits as real money to get real things from the store. So these are just a few of the things I have planned. Now, obviously, there's the account section. You can change your password, export your data. Now, this is cool. You can export all your data in a JSON. So if you're ever going to leave the software, please click this button because it'll give you all of your data and information so you can take it with you and you don't lose it. I will keep your information on file for 180 days so you can log back in at any time to reactivate your account. However, after 6 months, the system will automatically purge your data. So please, if you do delete your account, just know that you have 6 months to log back in to export your data, or the system will delete your data. Notification screen is obviously what it says. You can put your time zone here, the different notifications you want to receive, and enable your push notifications. So that is it. That is what the software does. It's really amazing. It's already helped me to save my cat's life. It's helping dozens of other users right now. We're in beta, we're at the end of beta. So the software is very polished and very ready, but there's still a few functions I'm going to add over the next few weeks. I also have some members requesting different pets to be added. For example, one of my members has 6 tarantulas. I don't currently support tarantulas, but possibly by the time you're looking at this, I will. So we'll see. But if you have a specific breed of animal that you'd like added, simply let me know and I will take care of it. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope the software works out well for you, and we'll talk soon.